everyone, Melody here, back with you for another From the Heart Friday. So the thing is, I don't know where this video is going to go exactly. I don't have a game plan. I'm just going to sit here and talk with you with my tea. This past week I've just been experiencing a lot of new things. I got a job, first of all, and that has just opened up a whole new world of beautiful things and things I've never done before, and it's kind of scary but kind of fun at the same time, and I just love it. And it has just opened my eyes to another definition of the word serve and how I can serve and help others in another kind of way. It's really beautiful to experience those ways. I've been raised to serve people. I remember going to nursing homes when I was little and playing piano for them, and just it always involved music, but now I'm able to kind of step outside of that box. One thing that stood out to me is how servers are basically rewarded based upon how they serve someone. And so I was thinking about just tonight, I was standing in the kitchen here in my home, and I was like, you know, that's what the kingdom is like. You are basically rewarded based upon how you serve the Father, how you serve his people. And so I was thinking about that, and I was just trying to figure out how the Father wanted to translate that and bring it to all of you guys. But one of the important things to know is that we should not serve people to be rewarded. We should just serve them because we're following in the footsteps of Jesus and he served. We should never have strings attached to anything that we do. I think that Yeshua, when he served, he didn't expect anything in return. When he knelt down to wash the disciples' feet, he didn't sit back up and expect someone to wash his. Do you see what I'm saying? What I have been really striving to do in the past few months, and even more so in the past couple days at this new job, I've been wanting to reflect that heart of a servant. Let's just go to John 13 to read the story of when Jesus washed the disciples' feet. Now, before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come, that he should depart from this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. And supper being ended, the devil having already put it into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel and girded himself. After that he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel with which he was girded. Then he came to Simon Peter, and Peter said to him, Lord, are you washing my feet? Jesus answered and said to him, What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will know after this. Peter said to him, You shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I do not wash you, you have no part with me. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said to him, He who is bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean. And you are clean, but not all of you. For he knew who would betray him. Therefore he said, You are not all clean. So when he had washed their feet, taken his garments, and sat down, he said to them, Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, Well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example, that you should do as I have done to you. Most assuredly I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is he who is sent greater than he who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. So John 13, 1-17 just tells of how Jesus laid out this example of how we are to wash one another's feet. We are to serve one another. Sometimes people look at leaders and they kind of get this mentality of, oh, they are royalty, I'm not, and so I'm gonna serve them. And then the leaders kind of get this mentality when pride settles in and they think, oh, I'm a leader now, I don't have to serve anymore, people are gonna serve me. That is not what the Father intended at all. The Father intended for all believers to be royalty, not just people who are stronger in their giftings that is something that I've had to learn over and over again and had to really ingrain into me. Because as a leader, I don't ever want to get the mentality of being like, I expect others to serve me because I've done my part and I'm done now. Because when you become a leader, you are just then entering into the most humbling season where you're going to serve like never before. You have to know how to be there for the people in any way that they need before you expect them to even follow you. We always grow up and we think about how we want to do the greatest things. We want to be superheroes or doctors or just all of these big roles of leadership. And we grow up and we still sometimes have that mentality of, I want to do great things. I want to be a leader. I want to be on that platform. I want to have this kind of influence. But sometimes, and most of the time, that journey starts by serving in the lowest place. And we have to be okay with that. We have to be okay with being the one who cleans the bathrooms. Sometimes that is how your journey starts, because the Father wants to make sure that your heart is in the right place. He's always measuring us. He's always seeing how much we can handle, because I love the way Bill Johnson puts it. Whenever he trusts us with the weight of his glory, he wants to make sure that we have a firm foundation. Because if we're fractured in some way, the weight of his glory is only going to crush us, because the fracture is going to just break fully. But if we have a rooted foundation and he places the weight of his glory upon us, and he trusts us with that, that's going to strengthen our foundation if we have that firm foundation in the first place. So if the Father is constantly measuring us and he's always giving us these little bits and pieces to just see if our heart is in the right place and if we're ready for the next step. And sometimes that looks like serving in the lowest place, cleaning the bathrooms, being a waitress. But then years down the road, you never know what might happen. Because over time, after building history with the Father, after showing him, the Father, you can trust me with these things, that's when the reward comes. Because he is a God of reward. I've seen that over and over and over again, and it's amazing. So how I have kind of learned how to have that heart towards life in general, not just in ministry. My whole life is about ministry. It's how all of our lives are about. No matter what role we fill, it's always about ministry, knowing him and making him known. The way that I have learned to kind of enter into that heart towards life and to see everything through his eyes every single day is by waking up and I just say, thank you for another day. How can I serve you today, my King? How can I bring honor to you? How can I help others know that they are loved? How can I do that? And that sets the firm foundation for the rest of the day. Sometimes you won't really see something extraordinary happen, but that's when you ask him to open your eyes to see the beauty in the ordinary things. Because sometimes we just look over them. We look for a crazy miracle. Sometimes through just a smile, you could change someone's life. I was watching a teaching by Bill Johnson in December. I just love what he said in the sermon, and I wrote it down. And he said that Jesus was the perfect example of what royalty through his eyes looks like, what royalty in the kingdom looks like. And he said, a real king washes feet. He rules with the heart of a servant and serves with the heart of a king. Basically what I wanted to share with you is that the Father is teaching me how to be a servant in more ways than one. There's always more ways than you could ever think of to help others, to help them feel loved, to just make his goodness known through kindness. And so I just want to encourage you today to join me in this, to reign on earth by serving, not expecting someone to serve you, but to always be there to serve others. And just as a server is rewarded based upon how they serve someone with all their heart, making sure the person is taken care of and just taking care of the place that you've been trusted to serve in, that is the exact same way that it is in the kingdom. And we shouldn't do it to be rewarded, but we should just do it because that's what Jesus taught us to do. We should join him in washing his people's feet, walk in his footsteps, to be kind. I'm always talking about being kind because he was so kind and he is so kind. And to just show his love through serving his people, because that is how we can be a true reflection of who he is and what he has done by doing what he did. But I really hope that that was encouraging to you guys. I don't even know if that made any sense. Anyways, that is all for today, guys. If this video was a blessing to you, please share it with the people in your life who you think it would also encourage. I really hope that you guys have a wonderfully blessed day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!